Hello everyone, welcome to STEAM Camp with the San Mateo County Libraries. My name is Lena and today we will be doing a really fun but simple activity together. So what we're going to be doing is making spool racers with some common items that you might find in your home. So what the spool racer is essentially a really small and simple engine that will show us how forces make things move. Before we get started, we do need a few items. So you're going to need some wooden or plastic spools. What I have here, I'm using some old receipt rollers, but anything that is tube shape and has a hole running through it will work great. We're going to need some rubber bands. We're going to need that anything elastic will work because we need that stretch. We're going to need some toothpicks or any wooden skewers. A washer like the one I have over here. Some pens or pencils. It doesn't need to be sharpened. It could be a shorter pencil. It could be longer. Some tape. And it could be Scotch tape, masking tape, painter's tape, any color. We just need some tape. And later on, if you want to measure how far your spool racer will go, you're going to need a ruler or some sort of measuring tape. I have here a 12-inch ruler. I also made my own, this is an 18-inch ruler. And piece of paper if you want to keep track of how far your spool racer is going. All right. I'm going to go ahead and tilt my screen down next so you can see my desk where we're going to build a spool racer together. Okay, so rubber band, washer, toothpick, pencils, and missing, oh yes, the spool. All right, to start off, we're going to grab the rubber band. I'm going to hold it like this and we're going to thread it through the washer. Now to keep the rubber band in place, we're going to grab a pencil and thread it through like this. Okay, next we're going to get this rubber band threaded through the spool. So you can see the spool is actually pretty long. The rubber band, it'll be hard to just try to drop the rubber band in and thread it through. That's where we need the second pencil to help us. So we're going to wrap the end around the pencil. So this will help us push the rubber band through more easily, like this. Wrap with a rubber band. I'm going to let go of this. This part was just snapped into place since we finished setting that part up. Now this part, so I'm holding onto the rubber band to keep it from falling back in, but we're gonna need something else to keep it in place. So what do you think we can use to keep it in place? That's right, the toothpick here. So I'm gonna thread it through. I'm gonna let go. Okay, so as you can see, the toothpick is keeping the rubber band from falling in, but we're gonna want to break off the sides because we don't want that sticking out. That will affect how it moves. Okay. So we broke it. So we have this over here. Lastly, we need a piece of tape to tape over the toothpick to keep it from moving around too much. And don't worry if it takes you a few tries to get the rubber band threaded through. It is difficult, especially if it's you're using a rubber band that is not as easy to stretch. So, oh, there we go. We have our spool racer. So how does this work? So if you guys have ever played with a toy wind-up toy car, So you have a little dial on the side where you wind it up, and when you set it down and let go, it just takes off. This works similarly. Same with those music boxes where you wind up and you let go and it just plays music. This is a similar mechanism. So I have here, I'm going to show you the inside. This is what the rubber band looks like right now inside. So how the spool racer will work is when we twist the rubber band, this when we wind it up, we are storing up energy. And that energy that's getting stored up inside right now is called potential energy. So we're going to wind it up some more. When we set it down, the potential energy that we stored inside gets released and becomes kinetic energy. And that kinetic energy is what puts the spool racer into motion. It's what causes the spool racer to move. Okay, I think I stored up enough. You can see here it's really twisted. We stored up some energy. Again, when I set it down, the energy from the rubber band unwinding becomes a force that pushes the spool across this table here. So that's the kinetic energy. And this pencil over here just acts as a balancing force to keep it from flipping over, and also makes it easier for us to wind it up. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go. I'm going to count to 3 and let it go, and let's see how far it goes. I don't know if I mentioned this, but my surface over here, from here to the screen where it goes off screen, it's about a foot of space. So let's see how far it goes. 1, 2, and 3. It looks like it went off to the side. Let me try that one more time. I think I might have pushed it off to the side a bit, but okay. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So it did go all the way to the end of there, more than a foot. There's still some energy left. As you can see, it's still going. So this will probably work really well on a surface where you have a lot of space. This table is a little limited in that, but on the floor, or if you go outside on the concrete, you can see how the spool racer will, if the concrete will affect how the spool racer will move. So definitely try different surfaces. And if you have carpet, see if there's enough energy to get it moving on the carpet. Oh, I'm gonna put a ruler here. Let me show you. I'm putting a little bump, speed bump here. I wind up my spool racer again. We're gonna just try and see if it can get over this little speed bump. And it did. The second time, it looks like there's not enough energy right now to get it over the second time I set it down. But it's still kind of moving. You can see it's spinning. So it's trying, it's releasing energy, but it's not enough to get it over. Parents, another thing you can do with your kids, you can make your own spool racer alongside. Use different materials to try to show and race against each other to see if using different materials will affect how your spool racer will move. To show a quick example, I have a second spool racer here that I made earlier. So I made it, everything's the same except for one item. There's only one difference, but it moves differently than the one that we just made together. Let me wind it up and show you, and you can see if you notice what's different. So I'm winding it up. All right, I'm gonna set it down and let it go. As you can see, it's moving really slowly. It's like a snail racer. All right, I'm gonna try this one over here. As you can see, it moves a lot quicker. So what's different between the two? Oh, see, the energy is getting released. There's still a lot of energy. That's the rubber band unwinding and releasing energy. All right, okay. Get back to it. Let me show you right here. So I use the same materials. The only thing that's different is the rubber band size. The one that we made together earlier that moves super quickly, I use a thinner rubber band, and it's also a lot more stretchy. It's a lot more elastic. And the rubber band, this one over here that moves really slowly, it's a thicker rubber band that seems to be harder to stretch, so there's a lot more resistance. So that might be what is making it go slower. So definitely experiment with different materials to see how that affect your spool racers. Okay, so before we wrap up, I'm going to go over some vocabulary that I mentioned earlier. So I mentioned kinetic energy and potential energy. So potential energy is energy that is stored up and ready to be used. So when we're winding up, we're storing energy, and that stored energy is called potential energy. And kinetic energy is energy in motion. So like when we set it down and the rubber band unwinds, you see that pencil moving, so that is kinetic energy. And what is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. So energy is what gives the spool racer power to essentially move. All right, so we went over a couple of vocabulary words, and now we're at the end of our activity. So thank you guys for joining us. If you guys want to share what you create, if you guys get creative, decorate your spool racers, you use different materials, we do want to see. Oh, it's backwards. All right, never mind. So you can tag us at SMCL Libraries or hashtag SMCL Creates. On Instagram to share your wonderful creations. You can also go on to see other people's creative projects. And one more thing, I do want to mention the Summer Learning Challenge. If you guys already know what it is and signed up, great job, and give yourself a pat on the back. For those that haven't, the Summer Learning Challenge is something that the library does every summer. It's a challenge for those that love to read and learn. For those that are 18 or younger, so anyone can sign up, but for those that are 18 and younger, you guys do get a chance to win a $1,000 scholarship. And the more you read, the more challenges you complete, the more chances you get to win that $1,000 scholarship. So visit summerlearners.org to learn more or to sign up. All right, until next time.